dad in one word.
Dad in one word. That's tough.
If I could describe dad in one word, it would be
intentional. To be a father, you gotta be intentional.
I don't have one word for dad.
If I could describe dad in one word, I would say teacher.
Visionary.
Engaged.
It would be example.
Fearlessness.
Responsible.
Present.
If I could describe dad in one word, it would be support.
Evolution. Each and every day you learning and evolving.
If I could describe dad in one word, it would be protector.
One word that describes dad to me is leader.
It's everything you think it is and harder than you think it is and easier than you think it is.
You will experience the highs and the lows, but every single day, it's the basis and the foundation of the relationship is love, and that's very fulfilling. So I think my proudest moment being a father is every day when I come home, I get to come home to love, and you get to come home to people saying, "Hey, Dada," or "Hey, Dad," or "Eh." They all mean the same thing, and I think every day that just gives me something to truly live for and something that's so much bigger than myself.
Being a father made me softer. I come from a background where people would historically say that, Jorie, you're very blunt in the way that you deliver things. I always wanted to be a little bit softer, but we're gentle parenting. So it's a different approach. It's no longer, I can't be as aggressive because then that's what he's gonna embody. He's gonna be that. And I want him to be a gentle, compassionate soul as well.
It made me become a little bit more intentional with my time as well. And it made me think more about how what I was doing was really gonna be reflected back to me in my son, and how he shows me the things that I'm not always super conscious of.
Your parents might tease you and say when you have kids, they're gonna give you back. The same thing you did, or if you caused your parents to lose their hair or to stress out, your kids gonna do the same thing to you. But yeah, you see my hit, right? It's really just seeing like how you act, basically. Like your child acts like how you act, So if I'm silly, I can't be mad if she's always silly in the house because that's what I put out.
So even though we didn't grow up in the same household, he would come scoop me either on weekends and stuff like that and just teach me stuff and spend time with me. I remember learning to make ramen with him randomly one time, my first exposure to McDonald's, and we would just go sit at the park. So those are the core memories that I still hold to this day of my father.
What have my children taught me throughout the process? It's interesting because you think that you're raising children, right? But to realize that you're just raising tiny adults, right? And so you're seeing yourself through them. The things you want to get on them about or teach them, you realize when you look in the mirror, you got to do the same things yourself because they're going to learn way more from what you do than from what you say.
Riding around with him, he had like a little green Sonoma pickup truck. And he would pick us up like from school and stuff. And I just remember like having conversations with him a lot. And the main thing I ever just remember about him was he would always end every conversation with, "Do you understand?" And this big thing for me was like understanding like the lessons or whatever it is he was teaching us.
Everyone looks forward to the moment that they get their learner's permit and then they can start driving. And so my dad teaching me how to drive on the highway on 285, that was scary moments. I always remember that. I also remember as a kid growing up in the Bronx and going to church every Sunday, him teaching me how to tie a tie.
The thing that my dad kind of taught me early on, life lessons that I hope to instill and carry on through her, is just always be a man of principle, always be a man of character. So for her, always be a woman of principle and character. Do the right thing even when no one's looking. Even if there's no real advantage to you, just put more good out into the world than you originally started with.
Becoming a dad changed me into being more present for my wife, for myself, and for my kids. It also helped my strength in believing in God because my son was born unalive. And also it almost took my wife's life as well. So it made me appreciate even the tiniest moments with them and their mom.
for me, it's simple, right? You know, I grew up without a father, so the fact that I am a father, a present father at that, is something that I already feel like I've accomplished. But I think furthermore, it's how I consistently show up.
Noah has taught me how to be free in the moment, how to not care too much about everything. Teaching me how I don't have to be perfect every day, but building steps and building habits and building habits along the way, brick by brick, day by day.
Seeing them become young women once they both graduated college and going out and finding their own way, that made me the proudest because it kind of made me feel like, job well done. They were able to navigate on their own and, experience the world, through their own lenses. So it was definitely a proud moment to see them just become young women.
My mom passed when I was 7. So my dad raised me and my sister as a school teacher. So I wouldn't say necessarily one moment, but just knowing he was able to do that when his wife passed is just, I can't imagine the strength and the courage that he had to do that. So I don't take none of this for granted.